Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Darrell Owens, and we are here for another edition of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on Bowie Television. Very excited because this week, this week is week 8. We are getting extremely close to the midway part of the season, which will be next week. So we're introducing a couple of new things to the finale. Of course, last year we started giving you our breakdown on where we looked and during the playoffs at this point in time, and we're going to do that as well today. But overall, it's been an interesting NFL season, and just like last year, we got a lot of parity in the middle. So we're gonna try to break all that down and try to figure some things out. New number one this week. After the way things went last week, there better be a new number one. Also, with all of that, we'll also get a chance to just kind of really dig deep into a couple of things. But hey, I'm Darrell Owens. This is the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Bowie Television. Let's go ahead and get into it. It is time for 101, episode 112, where the players dwell.
One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
All right, we are here, episode 112, where the players dwell. A little, little old school there. But hey, we're glad to be with you for another episode of 101, episode 112. We're heading into week 8. Tonight, we got Bucks versus Bills from Buffalo. Two teams, like I said a while ago, that are going to kind of get trying to get out of a funk. Buffalo had a really tough loss to New England last week, and then the Bucks didn't do too hot themselves against Atlanta, losing at the buzzer there to Koo and the crew. But with all that, we're going to get into a lot today. We're going to break down our new bottom, our new outside looking in, the new top 10. We have a new number one. And, of course, we got some new things added on to the finale. Going to go ahead and get into this bad boy now. No need to hang around on it. Let's get it. Let's get you to the bottom. All right, so now we got you ready and set to go for the bottom here. This week in the bottom, this is how it goes. We got number 32, the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers had a week off last week, so they didn't really have nowhere to go. So they're sitting at 32. They got a Texans team this week, and they've got a chance playing against that Texans team to, who knows, maybe get that first win. But C.J. Stroud and the crew have really had themselves a really good season so far. So, it's been a really solid go for the Texans. But we'll have the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick go at it this weekend. And, yes, I am going to tell you now, I picked Carolina to win that game. But we'll see. I think the Texans are probably going to end up proving me wrong. But we got the Carolina Panthers at 32. At 31, the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have played above their means this season, in my opinion. I think that they have shown some moments where they're like, man, this Cardinals team might shock a lot of people. And they, kind of disappointed on a lot of ends. There were some people that really thought that they would maybe take it to another stratosphere per se. But unfortunately, those things didn't happen. So even with that being said, we do know that Kyler Murray was a full participant in practice yesterday. And so there's a chance that he may be making a return here. When a lot of people were saying that he wouldn't come back, that Arizona was going to move on from him. So we'll see. And we may get Kyler Murray a little bit sooner than, later. And still shout out to Josh Dobbs, because I still think he did an amazing job under the circumstances in Arizona. So Arizona at 31. At 30, the Chicago Bears. Chicago got their second win of the season, a very decisive win over the Raiders. Rookie Tyson Badgett, he had 3 touchdowns, and he came in, flawlessly in replacement of Justin Fields, the young man from Shepherd University, Division II. So congratulations to Tyson Badgett. He's going to get a chance to start this week, and they take on the Chargers. So we'll see if the Bears can get win number 3 and keep things rolling. The Raiders, who are number 23 on this, probably don't deserve to be there, but they are. The Raiders are at 23, and a week where they had a chance to really crank things up and get themselves over 500, they failed at it miserably. And there was a moment where they showed Devontae Adams on the sideline, head down, sad, just extremely sad, and I don't blame him. And I really feel bad for Devontae because he don't deserve that. All I can say is, come home, Devontae, come home. With the next one, Bears at 30. At 29, we got the New York Giants, who also got a win this weekend against the number 22 team. And if I had to be real honest with you, they probably shouldn't have even. I don't know, man. The game was hard to watch. I was there, up there at East Rutherford and New Jersey, and just I felt like the Commanders coming into that one had a chance to really get things going and put themselves at least in a good spot before they take on Philadelphia this week at home, which, got to head up there for that bad boy. But I thought this was a good chance for them to thrive in that situation, and they didn't. And they went out there, and their offense fell flat, and the Giants did what they needed to do. It wasn't pretty, but they got the win. And I said multiple times on, on different, situations, different platforms, saying that this Giants team just have had the Commanders' number. I mean, I believe, and I could be wrong, but at least their 29th or 30th win against the Commanders since 2000, since the year 2000. And the Commanders have only beat the Giants like 8 times, like maybe 7 or 8 times. There's a tie in there, of course, from last year. So that's what they're saying. But the Giants get the win there at number 29. At number 28, the New England Patriots. They pulled off a win. A lot of the teams, it's funny, the teams that are in 27 to 32, 4 of those teams got wins. And 4 of those teams got wins last week. The Bears, the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Giants. But yeah, the Patriots went in there, did their thing, and they didn't waver against Buffalo. And Buffalo gave it away. If I had to be real honest with you, when you go back and look at it, Buffalo had the lead. It was like 12 or 13 seconds left on the clock. Maybe like 20, 30 seconds left on the clock. And then the Patriots drove down the field, and they were able to get the game-winning touchdown and to win 29-25. So nice win for the Patriots. And I said this earlier in the season, the Patriots are going to be competitive. You can't look past them. They're going to be tough. They're going to be competitive. They're not going to play around. So with that being said, you just got to watch out for this New England team because they don't play games. Like, they've had some rough spots, but they're not a team you can just look past. So we'll see. Patriots at 28. At 27, the Denver Broncos beating the Green Bay Packers 19-17. I was highly disappointed. Green Bay had a chance to drive down the field and win this game. And for the second straight game for the Packers, Jordan Love, masterful drive, gets down the field, throws a pick to me that I felt like was an unnecessary throw. But I'll let you, if you need to hear more about that, you can go to Green and go over everything and check that out. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to get upset. But as you see, the Packers are at 26. Broncos are at 27. Y'all know how I do about a record. But a couple of these teams in the bottom beat the teams that are ahead of them. And I'm saying to myself, like, oh, boy. But that's how crazy the bottom has been. So the Packers are at 26. I'm not going to go too deep in that. Like I said, they're disappointing me right now. I personally feel they should be 5-1. Only game they truly lost to me was the Lions game. They just weren't in it. They were in every other game competing and just couldn't pull it off. Could easily be 5-1. At 25, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans did not play last week. They were on the bye, so they'll be back this week hoping to get a win. They will take on a very, very how can I put this about this team? Well, they're gonna play a team that they really, really have a chance to beat, I would say, but you just never know with the Titans. That's that's just how they are. Like I feel like from week to week, you say to yourself, "Oh man, the Titans, they got this one." They got this one. They're going to go in there. They're going to get the dub. They're going to be all right. But I just don't feel that way. And even though they're playing the Falcons, it always feels like, the week you think that the Titans are going to win, they don't, and in the week you feel like they're going to lose, they win. And this could be one of those weeks because I picked against the Titans. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. 25, the Titans. At 24, the Chargers, a team that continues to disappoint. They're 2-4. They've had a really tough schedule, to be honest with you, to start the season off. They lost to Dallas last week. They lose to division rival the Chiefs this past week. They're sitting at 2-4. They got the Bears this week. That's a trap game for the Chargers. And they better be careful. The Bears are starting to build a little confidence. They're 2 out of their last 3. So just watch out for Chicago. Chargers at 24. 23, the Raiders. We talked about the Raiders losing to Chicago. 22, the Commanders. We talked about their loss to the Giants. And at 21, the New Orleans Saints, a team that I don't know what they're trying to do right now. I probably shouldn't. Every time I give a team a blessing, they do bad. So that's probably my fault. But they were in a really tight one with the Jaguars, had a chance late, but Trevor Lawrence and the crew were able to pull it off and get the dub. And, I love what I'm seeing from Alvin Kamara. He looked like he's back to his old form. So, but they just, for some reason, the Saints can't score properly, or they just can't get things going offensively. And it's really, really weird. All right, there's the bottom. The Panthers, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Cardinals. I'm about to say the Chiefs. The Panthers, the Cardinals, the Bears, the Giants, Patriots, Broncos, Packers, Titans, Chargers, Raiders, Commanders, and the Saints. Boy, this bottom has been it's been a crazy bottom this year. So we'll see if somebody can move into the outside looking in next week, if some of these bottom teams can improve. Cardinals are going to be intriguing with Kyler Murray come back. The Packers are going to be in a really bad spot because they got a couple of tough games. Vikings coming up, Steelers coming up. They could fall a little bit further down the wayside. Only thing right now that I think is a positive light is maybe the Packers are picking like 8th in the draft. So I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm going to get upset. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the outside looking in. All right, outside looking in. And starting off with number 20, the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 3-4 on the season. They were in a battle at home against Cleveland, and it just didn't happen. Minshew threw for 305 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Jonathan Taylor seems like he's getting back in stride. 18 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Downs, the second-round pick from North Carolina, had 5 receptions for 125 yards and a TD. So the Colts are battling. They're one of those teams that are just kind of in the mixing things, but it just didn't go their way. The Browns get the win. They move to 4-2. The Colts are 3-4 and are number 20 on our power ranking. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings, who I think this might be the first time all season that they're out of the bottom. They may have been in the outside looking in a little bit earlier, but it was really quick appearance. But look at the Vikings back in there. They're 3-4, a very, very impressive win against the San Francisco 49ers. The only person San Francisco is truly missing that was a big factor, in my opinion, was Deebo Samuel. But they still they just couldn't get things going. CMC came in, still did his thing, a smidget, 15 carries for 45 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns in the process. Jordan Addison had an amazing day for the Vikings, 7 receptions, 123 yards, 2 TDs. Making that first-round pick look amazing. He's had a really good year. He's putting in a strong bid for Rookie of the Year. So right now, if you're looking at Minnesota and you get Justin Jefferson back and he's healthy and you got Addison out here killing the game, those 2 guys as your wideouts right now is looking absolutely beautiful. But Minnesota's starting to kind of get things going. We'll see. They got Green Bay this week. Personally, I think they've got a really good chance to win that one and put themselves back at 500 and maybe turn things around. But Kirk Cousins having a phenomenal year, and it's hard to discount the year that Kirk Cousins is having. So we got the Vikings at 19. I can't believe I said that much nice things about the Vikings in that sentence, but it's true. At 18, we got the 3-4 Rams. The Rams had a game against Pittsburgh where I thought they had a really good chance to win the game, but Pittsburgh once again is continuing to prove why Mike Tomlin is is just one of the best coaches in our era, maybe even one of the best coaches of all time. The guy, he doesn't get considered for that, but he has never had a losing season as a head coach. He's been 500, but he's never had a losing season, and it doesn't look like he's going to have one of those this year. And every week I feel like I bet against Pittsburgh, but hey man, Kenny Pickett and the boys are finding ways to get dubs, and they won that game against the Rams at SoFi. So kudos to them. The Rams are at 18. I still like the Rams as a team that could be a threat, though. I gotta say that they can kind of figure it out, all around with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, who looks like he's right back where he was. They bring Darrell Henderson back off the street. He has a really good game. So it's a couple of those things you just gotta watch out for, and watch out for the Rams. They're going to be a team you don't want to see. At 17, the Bucs, who started off hot this season, they were 3-1, and people were interviewing Baker Mayfield and talking about all the great things that the Bucs were doing. That has kind of slowed down quite a bit. So the Bucs have to kind of figure some things out here, man. The Bucs are at 17 this week, and they got a tough one tonight against Buffalo, but a win tonight really puts them in a really good spot, if you ask me. I think as a team, they still have a chance to make some things happen. They're going to be one of those teams also, I feel like, that are going to be real competitive throughout the season. Plus, they're in a division where they still can win the division. As you can see, the Falcons right now leading the way in that division. They're 4-3, and they're right on the cusp of catching them. So, even though they lost to them last week, there's still chances. Bucs at 17. At 16, the Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans are at 16, and Houston is one of those teams where they had a bye last week, but they have really, really, really played well for a team that is what's the word I want to use? I guess for a team that has been kind of they're young. You got your first pick. They come in, they do some really good stuff with the first pick, and you say to yourself, like, wow, man, this guy's been really impressive. He's done some really good things. So with CJ Stroud, and then you bring Will Anderson, who was your second pick in the first round. You had number 2 and number 3, and they've played really good football. And DeMeco Ryans has got them playing really well. I know I say that every week, but I'm impressed by the Texans. I really thought they would be in the bottom most of the year. Texans at 16. At 15, the Jets were on a bye. They got the Giants this week at home / away type thing. I don't know, but the Jets will play the Giants this week. So that should be a fun one. Should be a good crowd mix there at East Rutherford. At 14, another team that was on the bye, the Bengals. They are, I think they have a chance to get themselves right back on the right foot. They got the 49ers this week. There may be no Brock Purdy. He's in percussion protocol, and if he can't go, it will be Sam Howell. So that'll be something to watch out for as we go along. Bengals at 14. At 13, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons would pull off the game winner against the Bucs to go to 4-3, and they're still trying to, solidify themselves as, maybe an NFC team to reckon with. But they do lead the division right now, and we'll see if they can keep that energy going. The Falcons are at 13. At 12, the Buffalo Bills. Disappointing loss to the Patriots, but I think they're kind of where they're supposed to be. And a lot of people are, the doubts of Josh Allen continue to creep in a lot of people's heads based off of the performances they have seen. So Buffalo's got to figure this thing out, because that window is, in my opinion, is closing extremely quick. Then you've got Seattle with their win over the Cardinals 20-10. A nice win for Geno Smith and the boys. Geno had 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Kenneth Walker, quietly, I guess, having a really good year with 26 carries and 105 yards. Smith Najigba had his first touchdown with 4 receptions and 63 yards, and his first touchdown of his young career. So congratulations to Smith Najigba. And the Seahawks are number 11. So there it is. The outside looking in, the Colts, the Vikings, the Rams, the Bucs, the Texans, the Jets, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Bills, and the Seattle Seahawks. All right, so now we get ourselves prepped and prepared for the top 10. All right, top 10. Here we are. Who is in the top 10? I think y'all pretty much know, but we're going to go ahead and slide on in there. Here's the top 10. Number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Browns coming off that impressive win against the Colts. It was a shootout. No Deshaun Watson, PJ Walker. Well, they had Deshaun, then PJ had to come in due to some injuries. And hey, they kept rolling, and the Browns are 4-2. And as you can see, there are 3 teams in the NFC North in the top 10. 3 teams. So it's going to be a dogfight in the AFC North. A dogfight in the AFC North. So Browns at 10. At number 9, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Talked about earlier how they just keep on, winning despite me. I'll say that. I feel like there's a week they're going to not win or pull off a game, and I don't think I picked them that much this year. And they're, winning despite me. But Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin, the squad is doing really good things. They got the Jacksonville this week, who we have number 3 on our power rankings. That's going to be a really intriguing game. That's also a game I think Pittsburgh can sneak. I picked the Jags, but I think Pittsburgh can sneak that one and move to 5-2. At number 8, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys won a bye last week. They come back. They will be taking on the Rams and a chance to, kind of continue to boost their record. The Rams really want to try to, get back on the right foot after that last week loss to Pittsburgh. But Dallas was on the bye. I'll see if they can, climb up a little higher on the power rankings. They are at number 8. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. They were number 1 last week. Really, really bad loss to Baltimore. I mean, they got dog stumped in Baltimore. It was like 38-6, just an absolute beatdown. And they just weren't there. So Lamar Jackson went off 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. Amara St. Brown for Detroit had 13 receptions, 102 yards. Gibbs, the rookie, had 11 carries, 68 yards and a TD, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens just went off. As you can see, they're number 4 this week. They're climbing their way up into that top 5. So congratulations to the Ravens. So at number 6, the Dolphins. Dolphins lose to the Eagles, who are number 2 this week. The Dolphins, it was a very competitive game against the Eagles up until like that last, sometime deep in the 4th when the Eagles were able to pull away. But it was a really fun and tight game at one point during the contest. And, the Eagles were able to pull it off. They moved to 6-1. Dolphins are 5-2. We got the Dolphins at 6, the Eagles at 2. At number 5, the San Francisco 49ers. Back-to-back losses for San Francisco after starting 5-0. And the Minnesota one I did not see coming. But they, Minnesota is a tough football team. We can't look past that. They are a tough football team, and they showed it. They definitely showed it against this San Francisco team last week. But we got San Francisco at 5. At 4, of course, the Ravens after their great win against the Lions. At number 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are, I believe, the highest they've ever been on my power rankings. They're trying to make their way to that number 1 spot. Jacksonville's playing good football right now. They were 1-2 at one point. They've won 4 straight games, and they are cooking since they went to London. At number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles, 6-1. They got the Commanders this week. I'll get the opportunity to check that one out. I got to see the first one, which was a nail biter. Will number 2 be a nail biter? We'll see. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. They won 6 straight games after losing that first game to the Lions, and the defending champs have been on fire. So we got Browns, Steelers, Cowboys, Lions, Dolphins, 49ers, Ravens, Jags, Eagles, and Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your top 10. All right, so we are getting ready to finish this up. Let's hit them, ladies and gentlemen, with the finale. All right, so the finale, we're ready for it. Let's get into it. So first in the finale, our players of the week from last week. Going to go ahead and give that thing to Pat Mahomes. 32 for 42, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception in a 31-17 win over the Los Angeles Chargers. And Foyesade Okunle, and I know I destroyed that, had 14 tackles, an interception, and a touchdown, 31-24 victory over New Orleans to be our players of the week for last week. Our top 5. Now, this is you probably said, Darrell, man, Mahomes hasn't been in the countdown the entire season. Well, he's playing lights out right now. That may be an oversight on my part. But as you can see, he has jumped all the way up to number 1. He's number 1 right now. That week he had last week was absolutely fantastic, and it's hard to look past that. Mahomes is cruising right now. He is number 1. McCaffrey, still despite the injury, comes in, does some really good things. He gets 2 touchdowns for the 49er team. Wasn't enough. He's at number 2. Tua battled against his former teammate at Alabama, Jalen Hurts. Wasn't enough. You're probably thinking, where are the Eagles at? Hey, man, at some point this season they'll get in there. Hill, of course, leading the league and probably the best receiver right now in the league statistically. Can't leave him out of it. Got Hill at number 4. At number 5, TJ Watt. He's doing his thing. So there it is. Mahomes, McCaffrey, Tua, Hill, and Watt in our Week 8 NFL MVP candidates. Then my record from last week, or my overall record right now, 62-44. I went 8-7 the week before last, 4-9. 4-9 last week. But don't feel bad. That was all of the people on my team in our Pick'ems League. And here's the standings for that. As you can see, Russ is the new leader. Congratulations to Russ. Christina sitting right behind him at number 2. Ties about 8 games out. And there's a little bit of a scuffle down there. Then in the Legends division, Joey's still leading the way. He's got a 2-game lead over James, who has leapfrogged me and Justice to move into the number 2 spot. I knew James was going to be a problem, as well as Ty. I thought both of them would be problems at some point. And James is showing why he's going to be a problem, as now he has jumped into that number 2 spot. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Then we've got our NFL experts of the week. Joe and Russ both went 8-5, the best records by far that last week. And they was the same 2 guys we had back in week 5 be our experts of the week. So Joe, who's having a really good comeback story after starting off really rough, he has moved himself into that 4th place mark in that division. He's trying to make a push for the playoffs. This week, we have 2 Lone Rangers. Jay picked the Bears, ladies and gentlemen. Jay picked the Bears to beat the Chargers. And then Justice picked the Patriots to beat who they got this week. Not a whole brain fart, y'all. Oh, the Patriots beating the Dolphins this week. And so we'll see if they can pull that off. And here's our experts overall look into things. I know it's a lot to go on there, but you can check it out on our Instagram to see where all of our guys and ladies stand as with the NFL Experts Pick'em League continues to get a little bit harder. Then, if the playoffs started today, first time we're doing it this season, and here it is. If the playoffs started today, the Chiefs would be the 1 seed in the AFC. The Dolphins, the 2 seed, would take on the Buffalo Bills, the number 7 seed. The number 3 seed, Baltimore Ravens, would take on the number 6 seed, Cleveland Browns. The number 4 seed, Jacksonville Jaguars, would take on the number 5 seed, Pittsburgh Steelers. Heading to the NFC, the number 1 seed, it's looking like a lot like last year, y'all. The Philadelphia Eagles, the 1 seed. The number 2 seed, the Detroit Lions, that's something you don't get to see often, would take on the number 7 seed, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The number 3 seed, San Francisco 49ers, would take on the number 6 seed, Dallas Cowboys. That's happened a lot the last couple of years. And then we see the number 4 seed, Atlanta Falcons, take on the number 5 seed, Seattle Seahawks. So that's where we stand right now in our playoff standings. That's the first time we debuted it this year. We usually try to wait till the middle of the season. I should have waited till next week, but I couldn't help myself. And then last but not least, here are my winners for this week. I got the Bills, Vikings, Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, Jaguars, Falcons, Panthers, Rams, Colts, Browns, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers, and Lions. That's right. For the first time this year, I have not picked the Packers. They have truly disappointed me. All right, everybody. That is it. This has been episode 112 where the players dwell of one-on-one, the week 8 power rankings here in the NFL. I'd like to thank everybody that is tuned in, that's watched. Really appreciate it. Hope that you're having fun watching the show. I love doing the power rankings. It's one of the funnest things that I do. I get a lot of grief for them, but hey, I mean, that's part of the territory. If you think you know everything, then you got to be able to take the heat if they bring it to you, though. Anyway, everybody, that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been One-on-One, ladies and gentlemen, on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Once again, we will see you all next time, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you also to our Bowie TV listeners.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the